Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel that is Nursing Tricks. I hope you all are doing well, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please do subscribe. So let's get started. So epistaxis. So let me just introduce the topic to you. Epistaxis, the definition says that it is a hemorrhage from nose, which is referred to as the epistaxis, and it is caused by the rupture of the tiny distended vessels in the mucous membrane of any area of the nose. So I will write this definition for you so that you can copy the definition as it is, because the notes that I am giving to you, I have prepared these notes for myself for the exams. These notes will help you out in writing the exam, and also these will help you in preparing for the any your competitive exam. So it is a hemorrhage from nose, which is, you can call it as epistaxis, and the cause is rupture of tiny, you can say the rupture of the minute distended vessels, where it is in the mucous membrane of any area. It can be in the anterior part of the nose, or it can be in the posterior part of the nose. Any area of the nose. So I repeat the definition. The definition says it is a hemorrhage from the nose which is caused by the rupture of tiny distended vessels in the mucous membrane of any area of the nose. Now let us just see the anatomy, that from where these parts are, where in the nose where these type of, you can, rupture can be seen. So let me just draw a diagram for you. So this is nose which I am drawing for you, and this is the supply. 1, 2 and 3. So here you can see that three vessels, or you can say the three arteries are supplying. The first artery is the anterior ethmoid artery. Then second one is your sphenopalatine artery, and the third one is your superior labial artery. So we all have heard a word which is known as the Kiesel, K-I-S-S-E-L, Kieselbach's plexus. These three arteries together, they are known as the Kieselbach's plexus. If there is rupture in any of these arteries, this can lead to the epistaxis. I repeat, the most common site of the rupture can be the anterior septum. Why? Because in the anterior septum you can see the three arteries are supplying to the anterior septum, and they are named as anterior ethmoid artery, sphenopalatine artery, and the superior labial artery. Rupture in any of these three can lead to the epistaxis. I hope the definition and the anatomy of this particular condition is clear to you. Okay, now let us just move to the classification, or you can say the types of the epistaxis. So the classification says that this epistaxis can be the, or you can say the rupture can be in the anterior. First let me just write the heading. the classification of epistaxis. So the classification says that the rupture can be in the anterior area or it can be in the posterior area, in which I have already told you that the rupture in the anterior area is very common. So we can write here, it is most common, and but it is very less severe. And if you will see if the rupture is there in anywhere in the posterior area of the nose, you can say this is very less commonly seen, and it is more severe because it involves some pathology behind the condition. Then the anterior bleed can be seen, most commonly seen in the children. So you can write here, it is seen most commonly in the children, or you can say the young adult and mostly the cause of this anterior bleed is the trauma in the anterior area of the nose, and it can be controlled, it can be easily controlled by the direct pressure, I repeat, so the classification says, it can be anterior bleed or it can be the posterior bleed. In the anterior bleed, it is most common but very less severe. It is seen mostly in the children or the young adult, and the cause of this anterior bleed is your trauma, most commonly is trauma, and it can be controlled by the direct pressure. Then if you will see to the posterior bleed, it is very less common but it is more of the severe form, and it can be seen in the person after 40 years. Then with any other associated conditions like blood dyskaryosis and other causes we will see when we will study the causes of the epistaxis. Then the reason can be hypertension. And the most important thing is this posterior bleed. If you had found the cause of the epistaxis, that this is the particular cause, so you need to hospitalize the client, needs hospitalization. I hope the classification is clear to you. That is anterior and the posterior bleed. Now let us just quickly see what can be the causes of the epistaxis. So I am just rubbing it. By the time you can just revise that what is the anterior bleed and what is the posterior bleed. So the classification we are done with. Now next is the causes. So next is the causes of epistaxis. So now the causes of epistaxis. The causes can be the first most common, because we are studying the upper respiratory disorders of the children. So here the most common cause is the nose blowing. You have seen that so many children, they are involved in this nose blowing and nose picking. So this can be the cause which leads to the rupture of the anterior arteries, which we have discussed, and the trauma can be the cause. Any trauma to the anterior area, any type of infection can lead to this. Inhalation of the drugs which are irritant to the arteries present in the anterior area of the nose, inhalation of the drugs. Then any type of blood disorder, Next is your any tumor which is present in the nose, nasal tumor. So these are the various causes which can lead to the epistaxis. And if you want to study these causes in the two different headings, these two headings are the local cause. Local cause means when something happened to the nose itself and it has lead to the epistaxis. And the second is the systematic cause, or you can not systematic, it is systemic cause. It means something has happened to your system, other system, and it has lead to this particular condition. So the first local cause can be dryness. You can imagine if somebody is having the dryness in the nose, and if they will involve or if they will do the nose picking or nose blowing, then this will lead to the rupture of the arteries and it will lead to the epistaxis. Then trauma we have already studied, infection, then any foreign body, because if the foreign body is present, what the child will do, it will try to take it out and this will lead to the rupture. Or if there is deviated nasal septum. Now what can be the causes which are the systemic causes? It can be hypertension, it can be any renal disease, it can be blood disorder like blood dyskeriosis, then it can be any liver disorder. So I hope the causes are clear to you. So it can be, you can divide the cause into the local cause as well as the systemic cause. So these are the causes. Now let me just rub it and we will move to the diagnostic evaluation. How we can diagnose this particular condition. So till now we have studied the definition, we have seen the types or classification, causes, and now we will see the diagnostic evaluation. Diagnostic evaluation. Anywhere, any doubt, you are free to write in the comment box. I will try my level best to clear your doubt. This is the diagnostic evaluation of the epistaxis. Now very first thing is, whenever a child comes to you with the bleed, you have to make sure that you will first find out whether it is an anterior bleed or it is a posterior bleed. Now how you will make out? First you will ask the history from the parents if the child is not capable of telling that what has happened to him or her. So first thing is you will ask the history. So in the history, what all things you will ask? You will ask, first thing that you will ask is the amount, that how much amount of blood has been lost, amount of blood loss. Second thing is duration, that for how long this has happened, duration of the blood loss. Then third thing is the any intake of the or any medicine history is there. So these things you will ask from the parents or the child if the child is capable of telling. The second thing you will do, you will go with the inspection. Second thing is the inspection. Now what all things you will inspect? You will see whether this bleed is in the anterior area or it is in the posterior area. And why you are inspecting the nose? In order to know or in order to determine the size of the bleeder. To determine the size of the bleeder. Okay. Now the third thing is the lab investigation. It is not that as soon as the child is arriving in the hospital, you will ask the child or the parents to go for the lab investigation. No, that will be the wrong way of proceeding with the investigation, lab investigation. So why we want this lab investigation? So that we can exclude the disorder, exclude the blood disorder if any of the blood disorder is present. So I hope the diagnostic evaluation is clear to you, in which we have seen that we will see the history, then we will see the, then we will inspect, and then we will go with the lab investigation. Okay, now let us just quickly move to the medical management, which is very important. I have already told that the most common area of the bleed is the anterior area, which is very less severe and most common and can be managed at home itself. So you can only tell the parents if you will know the what is the exact management of this particular condition, which is epistaxis. So let me just write down the medical management. Medical management. So in the medical management, what you will do is, it depends on the location. It depends on the location of the bleeding site. So the two things that you need to do is the direct pressure onto the nose and the first aid management. So first thing you will do is the compression of the vessel, which is the Trotter's method. Trotter's method, this is very important. Trotter method, in which you will ask the child to sit onto the chair, and the child will lie forward or bend forward, and what the child will do, you will ask the child to pinch the anterior area of the nose with the first finger and the thumb, so that the compression to the artery can be given, and which will lead to the stoppage of the bleeding. So first thing is the compression of the vessel, and the other name for it is the Trotter's method. The second one is anterior nasal pressure with the joint tongue depressor. This is the Trotter method, and if this is unsuccessful, I repeat, if this is unsuccessful, then you need to take the child to the hospital. If it is unsuccessful, you need to take the child to the hospital. Then what you will do, first you will make out whether it is an anterior bleed or it is a posterior bleed. If it is an anterior bleed, what you will do, the treatment with the silver nitrate or the gel form, this is the treatment, and or the electrocautery. In case if it is a posterior bleed, then the treatment is the cotton pledgets, which are soaked in the vasoconstrictor. Then the vasoconstrictors that are used are the adrenaline 0.5%, or also you can use the phenylephrine. So these two things can be used, but you have to first see whether it is an anterior bleed or it is a posterior bleed. So this is all about the medical management. So first you will go with the, first you will see the location of the bleeding, then you will see you will give the direct pressure, and you will give the first aid. You will compress the vessel, and which is known as the Trotter's method, in which you will ask the child to sit onto the chair, and then to bend forward, and then to compress the anterior area of the nose with the thumb and the first finger. And if you will see that this method is not working, then you will take the child to the hospital, and you will make out if it is an anterior bleed. Treatment with the silver nitrate, gel form or electrocautery can be done. If it is a posterior bleed, in that condition, the cotton pledgets which are soaked with the vasoconstrictor, so that we can constrict the particular artery supplying to the area, and it will be soaked with the adrenaline 0.5%. In case, now the question arises, in case if the site is not identified, then what we will do? In case if the site is not identified, then the nose is packed with the petroleum jelly or the antibiotic treatments can be given, and this pack is to remain there for 48 hours or up to the 5 to 6 days. So I hope this is clear to you. I repeat the medical management: compression of the vessels, Trotter methods. If unsuccessful, anterior bleed, go with the silver nitrate or gel form or electrocautery. If it is a posterior bleed, cotton pledget soaked in a vasoconstrictor solution. And in case if the site is not identified, then what we will do, we will pack the nose with the petroleum jelly or antibiotic treatment can be given, and the pack will remain there for 5 to 6 days, for 48 hours or up to 5 to 6 days. Now let us just quickly see the nursing management. So from the medical management we can make out what is the nursing management of the epistaxis. So the nursing management says that first and the foremost thing is that you have to take the vital signs. Very important, because the child is bleeding. You need to see the blood pressure, you need to see the pulse, you need to see the temperature. So vital signs you need to see. You need to see vital signs because the child can land up into the hypovolemia. The child can land up into the hypoxia. Okay. Then you will assist in the control of bleeding. You will assist in the control of bleeding. Then you will provide the tissue and basin, and you will assure the patient, you calm the patient, please calm down the patient, and then instruct the client to avoid bleeding, to avoid blowing. Then you need to be ready with the discharge teaching, and then the Trotter methods. Trotter method also you will teach to the client. Trotter's method. So I hope these things are clear to you. The nursing management is not much difficult for this particular condition. I repeat the nursing management. The nursing management says that you need to first check the vital signs. Why? Because the child can suddenly land up into the hypovolemia or hypoxia. Then you will assist in the control of bleeding. You will provide the tissue and the basin. You will calm the child. You will ask the child not to blow the nose. Discharge teaching, and in the discharge teaching please tell them that how they can give this Trotter, how they can use this particular Trotter's method. So I hope this topic is clear to you. This is a very small topic, not much important, but yes, this condition is very common. So you should know that this Trotter method, you should know it is used in the control of the bleeding. So let us just quickly revise what we have seen. So we have seen the condition which is known as the epistaxis. The definition we have seen. So I am just writing what all things we have seen. We have seen the definition. So in the definition what we have seen, a hemorrhage from the nose referred to as epistaxis caused by the rupture of the tiny distended vessels in the mucous membrane of any area of the nose, and the what are the name of these arteries which are supplying to the anterior part. This is the Kieselbeck's plexus. You can say just anatomy we have seen, and then we have seen the classification, that is anterior and posterior. Then we have seen the causes, what can be the cause. Then we have seen the medical management, and then we have seen the diagnostic evaluation. Then we have seen the diagnostic evaluation, in which we have seen first we will take the history, then we will inspect, and then we will go with the lab investigation. So we have seen the diagnostic evaluation, and then we have seen the medical management, direct compression, and the Trotter method you will see. And in lastly we have seen the nursing management. So I hope the topic is clear to you. Any doubt, you are free to write in the comment box. I will try my level best to clear the doubt. And dear friends, if you have not subscribed this channel, please do subscribe the channel. The next video will be on the asthma. So we will be going to start off with the lower respiratory tract disorders. These disorders which I am just telling you, these disorders you will find they are very, you will find these type of questions in your exam if you are giving the subjective exam, and even if you are giving the objective exams like any entrance exam, you will find these type of words in your exam. So you should know that this particular word is associated with this particular condition. Okay, so any doubt, please do comment and subscribe this channel, and ask your friends also to subscribe and hit the bell icon. So this is all about this epistaxis. With this I say goodbye. Thank you so much.